For as long as I can remember, they've been telling us to enjoy it while they're young, but our days are filled with chaos and stress and cooking and endless laundry piles. Where's the time to enjoy it? Yeah, that's what I always thought too. There's so much I have to do. When do I find time for peace and joy and happiness when I barely have time to sleep? Mama, it's time to make shift happen. You can be a happy mom. If I can, you can. Trust me. I've been a mess, I've been depressed, I've been overwhelmed, I've been to the bottom of the pits, and I've risen, I've grown, I've bloomed, and it all started when I realized I didn't have to anything. I get to. It is my privilege and my honor and my divine responsibility to be the queen of my home. It's not a burden. I'm not a burden. I'm in charge. I'm the ruler. I'm the chaos coordinator. I'm the calm in the storm, and so are you. Come with me. Let's rise, mamas. Adjust your crown, accept your responsibility, change the effing world together. It's all in the way we choose to see it. I'm so glad you're here, friend. You're listening to Meant to Bloom with Brittany Clarkson. Hey, friend. Welcome back to Meant to Bloom. I'm so happy to have you here. It feels like forever since recording an episode for you. I think it's been 2 weeks. We've had this chaos of moving into a new house, and it's been so much fun, so much going on. We just had my 5-year-old's birthday party yesterday, and honestly, I feel like I miss you. Like, it feels like it's been a long time since I've talked to you. So much has been going on, so much has been happening. I want to chat with you today, guys. Wow, tongue-tied. That's fun. I want to chat with you guys today about becoming a confident decision maker, not just like how to make a decision. I mean, you guys can find that all over the internet, how to make like a decision tree and, weigh your pros and cons. I don't want to talk about how to make one decision. I want to talk about how to change the way you view decision making, how to move past this paralyzing feeling of just being unable to make basic decisions at the end of the day. All right. I mean, how many times have we gotten to dinner time and just, if you don't have this solid meal plan that you're really great at sticking to, and you're just like, what do we do for dinner? Oh my God, I don't even know what to do for dinner. We could do so many things. Should we use what's going to go bad? Should we just do takeout because I'm really tired? Can I even make dinner tonight? Should we do something from the freezer? Or is that just taking a shortcut that I don't want to take today? Do I want to cook? Do I want to go eat? Do I want to save money? There's so many different things that come into play. And I feel like that decision can just drive you crazy. And I'm not here to talk about meal planning today or, how to make dinner decisions specifically. But that one just feels like it's the biggest, scariest decision sometimes. And maybe some of that's rooted in the fact that, that day we just talked about in episode 88, that day that I nearly ended my own life, that really came out of dinner making. Like, that decision was pushing me over the edge from what had been building for weeks, building for 15, 17 years at that point, really, in my journey and my battle with depression and anxiety and just mental illness and being really awful to myself. But go back, listen to that episode if you have no idea what I'm talking about. That's episode 88. Episode 6. We talk about it too, if you're really into that. Anyways, let's talk about becoming a confident decision maker. How do we shift just being paralyzed by making simple decisions? How do we shift out of that and just become really confident in knowing that we can make a decision? All right, I want to talk. Why are you feeling insecure and frantic when it comes to making decisions? All right, there's a number of reasons that this can be happening. Do some self-exploration. Start paying attention when you're having trouble making a decision. What's going on? Are you overstimulated at the time? Are you just in this habit of doubting yourself? Maybe you've forgotten how good you can be at making decisions. Okay, you are a good decision maker. Look where you are in your life right now. What kind of decisions have you made? If you're practicing gratitude, you know that you have a wonderfully blessed life right now. Okay. Look at all these blessings around you. How did all this happen? You're good at making decisions. You need to know that. You need to realize that. Okay, maybe you have talked to yourself badly for so long that you have just killed your own self esteem. Maybe you've talked yourself down and told yourself that you're really bad at making decisions because you've been paying attention to all the things you got wrong. No, not paying attention to all the things you got wrong, paying attention to the couple things you got wrong and forgetting all the huge plethora of things that you've gotten right. All right. I wish I'd looked it up. I'm just now remembering. There's this old story about how, there was a teacher like in an elementary class, and she went up and she did math on the chalkboard, and she did, 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 3 is 7. 2 plus 4 is 6. She went through and she just got all of these things, all right, except there was one that was wrong, and all the kids are laughing, and all the kids are pointing out the one she got wrong, and she goes, I did this on purpose to show you that it doesn't matter how many things you get right, that one you got wrong is going to be the loudest. That's going to be the one that people notice. Is that what you're doing to yourself? Just noticing the one time you got wrong and forgetting all the times you got it right. Because honestly, what's more important? I think we forget to ask that when we know this concept, that we focus on what went wrong instead of the many that went right. I think we forget just this concept that what's more important? Did we place our importance on things that went wrong? Because if what went right is more important, that should be so much heavier. It should be so much bigger, like in your brain space. Look at everything that went right. But, through conditioning and, I don't know, natural selection, we've all decided we need to pay attention to what went wrong as a survival mechanism. And we don't really need that anymore, do we? We can focus on what went right. Learn from what went wrong. Don't pretend it didn't happen. But if we focus on the fact that we've learned things and we've made good decisions, wow, we can grow that muscle that agrees with us that we are good at making decisions. Okay, I also want to mention decision fatigue. This is a real thing. This is why making dinner, like dinner time decisions, becomes so catastrophic in our own brains. It's because you've already made so many decisions all day long. This is why I'm such an advocate for meal planning and having it picked out, decided earlier in the day what you're going to do for dinner. I mean, crock pot meals are fantastic for this purpose. And I know I'm not here to talk about cooking today, but crock pot meals not only make you make the decision early on, it makes you do all the prep work early on before you get tired and exhausted and decision fatigue. And, whatever the day may bring, at least dinner's already done and taken care of. That is a tool that should be utilized more often by people like me. I do not cook enough crockpot meals, and now we're in summertime, so crockpot's kind of weird to use sometimes. I want to find a list of, if you know some good summertime crockpot meals or like summertime zero prep meals, I invite you to send me an email, hello@brittanyclarkson.com. Send it to me in an email. Send me, links to other recipes and things, whatever. I want to know some of those. I'd like to put together a roundup, if you guys have enough to share with me, of like no brainer, no prep dinner, summertime dinners. That would be fantastic if we could put that together. So I invite you to share that with me. But see, I do this thing sometimes where I make the decision and all the meal planning, and then when dinner time comes, I get all stubborn and like don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, I don't know what I want because I haven't eaten today because, skipped lunches and meals, and I just get myself into this corner over and over and over again, and I have to decide that's not who we are anymore. Let's change this. We've got to get to the bottom of this and fix this. So more on that topic later on. I've been thinking a lot about that. But a crock pot meal makes you make the decision and then follow through with it before there's time to back out. So that's a fantastic idea for combating that dinner time decision fatigue. But the thing is, we make thousands of decisions a day. Most of them are subconscious, but they still take brain energy. And when your brain energy starts to get depleted, you've made too many decisions. There's so much research out there on Google, tons of like colleges and all that have done so much research on this in the past. And I encourage you to look into that if you haven't heard of decision fatigue or unaware. But see, the thing is, decision fatigue, it happens when you've made a lot of decisions already and your brain is getting tired and exhausted, hence fatigue. And this is something that is increased in people who have mental disorders and illnesses. So if you have a history of depression or anxiety, um, it's heightened, the decision fatigue. And then if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're the home manager, if you're just a mom, if you're just a homemaker, whatever, like being in charge of other people's lives, being in charge of the home requires you to be in charge of a lot of decisions for the whole family. That really contributes to the fatigue. You hear me? Like you're making a ton of decisions for multiple people. All right. And this also contributes to brain fog and like forgetfulness and just feeling so many feelings can come up and be a cause. And they're caused by this decision fatigue that is happening. And I think when we get decision fatigue, it gets really easy for us to start talking ourselves down, killing our self-esteem, telling ourselves that we're not good at making decisions because we're really focused on this internal struggle we're having to make a simple decision. And you'd think survival instincts that deciding what to eat should be really simple. And I think we just overcomplicate it, and it's become such a normal thing to put so much pressure on that decision. And we got to stop that for one thing. But here's the thing when it comes to decision fatigue and when it comes to your low self-esteem about your decisions, this doubting yourself and everything, is that awareness is key. Once you realize this, start realizing it in the moment. Start even speaking it out loud when you start getting into this anxious decision making and you're starting to feel all this fear and doubt and all these things. Start noticing and even say out loud, I'm experiencing decision fatigue. You're experiencing decision fatigue. You are tired of making decisions, and it's okay. Give yourself grace when it happens. This happens to everyone. Everyone experiences decision fatigue when you've made too many decisions. You're tired of using your brain. You just want someone else to make the decision for you. Tap into that awareness. Speak it. Say, I am tired of making decisions. And then let go of control and let someone else make a decision for you. Like you can ask your kids, you guys cool with cereal tonight? Let them make that decision and say, yeah, we're having cereal for dinner. Your kids love that, right? Your kids love to have cereal for dinner. They love to have boxed macaroni for dinner. They love to have frozen chicken nuggets for dinner. We don't have to make it so difficult. If you let them make the decision, you get to make a very easy meal. In my experience, at least. It's okay to experience decision fatigue. Remind yourself so often that it is okay to have these feelings. It's okay that you're having a hard time making a decision. Give yourself grace that it's difficult for you right now. That is a key to continue moving forward and not be paralyzed by the decision. And now here's how we're going to grow confidence. Okay, now that you know when those times are coming up, we're going to counteract it. Okay, here's what I want you to do. 3 things. I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, to build your confidence at making these decisions. I mean, obviously, key point is to have the awareness and give yourself grace. That is big. Okay, now the number 1 thing you're going to do right after listening to this episode, I want you to brain dump. Just pour it out on a piece of paper. Get yourself a nice notebook and pen, whatever. Use your notes app on your phone, whatever it is you do. Brain dump all the good decisions that you've made so far. And I mean every good decision. It was a good decision to marry who you married, I hope. It was a good decision to have the number of kids you've had. It was a good decision to move into the home you're in. It was a good decision to buy the car you bought. It was a good decision to sell a car in the past. It was a good decision to pass on the gas station sushi. It was a good decision to eat breakfast this morning. Whatever. List everything, big and small. Every good decision you can think of that you have made in the past in your entire life, I want you to list. You can set a timer for 2 minutes. You can go until your paper's full. You can go until you hit, 10 things, 20 things, whatever feels really good. But I want you just to dump as it comes to you. Don't edit what you're writing. Anything that you think of as a good decision, write it down. Put it on the paper. Put it on your notes. Okay? That's your step number 1. Brain dump your good decisions. Step number 2, I want you to choose one of those, and you can do this multiple times, but just choose one at a time. Choose one of those decisions, and I want you to reflect on how that decision has bettered your life. Okay? Now you're going to get into practicing gratitude for having made that good decision. Gratitude for everything that happened to you in your life because you made that decision. Gratitude for the fact that you made that decision. Gratitude for the fact that that decision was left up to you. It was not made for you. Get into the gratitude, get into the nitty-gritty, get into every good thing that happened because you made that good decision. And you can go through over the course of whatever time frame you want, and you can go through every single thing you wrote down on your brain dump, or you can just do this with one right now. One thing that's coming to you, whatever you think is going to be best for you, okay? You're not going to get extra points for, extra credit for doing all of them. Only do all of that if that's really, really going to benefit you. Okay? It's not about doing more. It's about getting into the feeling and correcting this anxiety over decision making. Okay? So 1 is your brain dump. 2, choose one and reflect, deep dive gratitude for that decision. Okay, and then number 3, I want you to come up with some kind of an affirmation or a positive thought or a mantra, something that's going to easily jog your memory about this decision, about the fact that you are good at making decisions. Okay, I want you to come up with an affirmation on your own based on decision making. I am good at making decisions. I already made this good decision. I already made that good decision. I can trust myself to make good decisions because I've done it in the past. Let whatever comes to you come to you. Find that affirmation, and I want you to Post-it note it. Put that Post-it note where you're going to see it. Make it your wallpaper on your phone. I want you to see it. I want you to remember it. Every time you start getting anxious about decision making, every time you feel that decision fatigue, I want you to have that awareness that this is something that's happening to you. It's not a flaw in your system. It's not a flaw in your brain, okay? It's normal to experience this. You make a lot of decisions, okay? Awareness is key. So when you start feeling those anxious decisions coming up, you start having that fear, the self-doubt, the low self-esteem, the fatigue, okay? You're starting to feel crazy that you can't make this simple decision. Have the awareness that this is normal. It's okay. Give yourself grace to experience those feelings. Give yourself grace that it's okay that you're not immediately making your decision. You can sit on it. You can take time to think things over. Now think them over, not stress about them and worry about them. Okay? So you get those anxious feelings, you have the awareness, you give yourself the grace, and then I want you to go into the affirmation to remind yourself you are good at making decisions. Okay, friend, I love you so much, and I want to share with you a freebie that I have for you that I don't know if I've really mentioned on the podcast before. I have my affirmations collection. It's set at free right now. I thought this was a paid product, but it's free. It's a whole list of affirmations that I've come up with for different various things. And then there's a printable affirmations cards as well. So I want to send you to brittanyclarkson.com/affirmations. And you're going to find all of those things to just keep feeling better, keep reminding yourself of positive thoughts, talk to yourself better. It will change your life to speak kindly to yourself, to uplift yourself, to encourage yourself, instead of tearing yourself down. Because, friend, the world can be a harsh place. The world can tear you down. Don't be your own worst enemy. All right? I love you so much. You are important. You are worthy. You are great at making decisions. And I am so, so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of Meant to Bloom. It really does mean the world to me. But are you ready to take this a step farther? Check out the description below of this episode and grab your mindset makeover. It's totally free, my gift to you. Then hop on Instagram and let me know what you thought of this episode. Tag me at Britt Clarkson. That's BritClarkson. If any part of this resonated with you, please let me know by tagging me or leave a review and share on social media so other mamas can find this too. If it helped you, it's going to help someone else. You're part of a movement now. Let's go.